morning, good afternoon, good evening. The last few days, I have been talking about Chamisa staging his comeback from his sabbatical. And the principal purpose of the comeback is to con Zimbabweans to participate in the 2028 elections without a token reform implemented, con them to believe that they will win those elections, only to give Zanu PF political legitimacy and perpetuate the dictatorship. I have come out and condemned it, but I knew that in doing so, I was touching a raw nerve. There are some people who believe that Chamisa is a demigod. He is infallible and should not be held to account. Of course, I am of the opinion that he is a mere mortal, corrupt and incompetent, and a liar to the boot. I have played a number of videos indicating that Chamisa is lying. Here is a video of him promising the people of Zimbabwe that he was going to win the 2023 elections resoundingly.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifoiri. Plan yaMwari haifoiri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
This claim flies in the face of the political reality on the ground. We have known that Zimbabwe's elections are flawed. So flawed, so illegal, that the only logical step is to withdraw. This is a quotation from David Coulthard's book. And of course, he's right. The election process in Zimbabwe is so flawed that it is impossible to win those elections. And yet, MDC, CCC have stubbornly continued to participate in these flawed elections. And David Coulthard in this book, this quotation from his book, explains why the MDC leaders in 2013 realized that the election process was flawed. But they stubbornly went ahead to participate in those flawed elections because the MDCN could not trust the MDCT guys to withdraw. And so they ended up both participating. And they all knew that by participating, they are giving Zanu PF legitimacy. What has been happening ever since those GNU debacle was that MDC CCC guys have participated in flawed elections, knowing that Zanu PF was rigging and that participating will give Zanu PF legitimacy. But they have lied to the people. They will not tell them, of course, that we are participating out of greed, so they to tell the people a lie. that they were going to win rigged elections. This is at the heart of the debate that's going on. Did Chamisa lie or not? Of course he lied. How can we keep on pretending that he did not lie when we know that he did lie? Here is another video clip of Chamisa. This is after the elections, 2023 elections, where he's claiming that he has won and he has got the V11 forms.
We reject this sham result and flawed process based on the disputed figures. We have our V11s. I'd asked our teams to bring those V11s. I'm not so sure if they're here so that you would see them. We have brought V11s from across the whole country, and those V11s are going to be the basis of our assertion. We have won this election.
He did not have the V11s. When he said he had plugged the vote rigging loopholes, he was lying. Zanu PF was able to blatantly rig the elections. He didn't even have the common sense to deploy election agencies at all the polling stations. And so he didn't have the V11 votes. And yet, here he was, coming out and telling the people that he has got the V11. One of the groups that had been following the elections very closely, Team Pachelu, has since come out and revealed that even they, with their diligent team, did not have all the V11 forms. Indeed, they've since revealed that there are some polling stations, about 1,000 of them, out of about 11,000 polling stations, which even they failed to get the voters' roll for those polling stations, much less get somebody there. Because that was part and parcel of Zanu PF rigging the elections. About 10% of the polling stations, the regime kept those secret. And in Tim Pachedu's recent report, which they released this August, they showed that in one of those polling stations, mystery polling stations, Mnangagwa got 999 votes, and Chamisa got 0. It should be remembered here that on the voters' roll, by ZEC's own information, there were about 5 million Zimbabweans on the voters' roll. And if there are 10,000 polling stations, that will equate to about 500 voters per polling station. And yet, we have got one polling station here with V11 return form. Shows that Mnangagwa got 999. All other polling stations had a maximum of 500 people, voters, registered voters. This mystery polling station had twice as many. And on the day of voting, they all turned up to vote. And they all voted for Mnangagwa. If this is not blatant rigging, I don't know what is. And yet, we have somebody who still maintains that Chamisa did not lie. That is one of the fundamental problems we have in Zimbabwe. Chamisa lied. He had not plugged all the vote rigging loopholes. And the blatant cheating, rigging of the elections by Zanu PF proves that Chamisa lied. Why some people are refusing to accept that simple historic fact beggars belief. But this is where we have a problem. Here is a clip, a video clip of somebody talking about the need to be trustworthy.
Never lie to someone who trusts you, and never trust someone who lies to you. Honesty is a bond that once broken is difficult to restore. Trust is fragile, earned through consistency and lost in a moment of deceit. Value the truth in your relationships, as it's the foundation of respect and loyalty. Always remember, one lie can shatter years of trust, and one truth can strengthen bonds beyond measure. Choose to be honest and expect the same from those around you. It's better to be hurt by the truth than comforted by a lie.
That is very true. It is better to be hurt by the truth than to be comforted by the lie. The tragedy in Zimbabwe is that we have got millions of people who do not even have the intellect to distinguish between truth and lie. Even when their noses have been rubbed into the consequences of the lie. By conning Zimbabweans to participate in last year's elections, Chamisa gave Zanu PF political legitimacy and thus perpetuated the dictatorship and the people's suffering. This is not the first time he has done that. 2018, he did the same thing again. He told the people MDC Alliance has got stringent measures to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. He was lying. Zanu PF rigged those elections. And the nation found itself back to square one, stuck with the same corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical Zanu PF regime. It is not rocket science. Why some people refuse to accept that Chamisa did not lie when they can see it with their own eyes, beggars belief. Chamisa has often qualified his statements with hashtag God is in it. That too is a lie. At the beginning of this, I played you a video where Chamisa was saying, if God has made a plan, God will never fail. If it was God's plan that Triple C must win big, then why did it fail? It failed. Chamisa did not win big. Zanu PF blatantly rigged those elections. That is a historic fact. As much as we want change in Zimbabwe, I don't think we are going to get change. 2028, Chamisa is already preparing to tell people and mobilize his followers to participate in those elections on the basis of another lie. If we do not have the intellect to distinguish a lie from a truth, then we deserve to suffer. And after 44 years of rigged elections, in this day and age, it beggars belief how it is possible that we could be so naive and gullible to believe one idiotic lie after another. I make no apologies at all. I still state my position. Chamisa is a mere mortal. He is not a demigod. He is corrupt, incompetent, and a liar. There are those who will froth and fume at hearing that. What I say to them is you should learn to distinguish between truth and a lie. Fact and fake news. This is tragic that we have given the vote to people who are so naive and so gullible that they will believe one lie after another. Universal suffrage has not been a blessing for Zimbabwe. It has been a curse. Thank you very much, those of you who were able to join me this morning, and have a good day.